Welcome back. We were waiting for the other streams, I guess, to play their ads. So now they're done. We're gonna get into Frost for Nerchio versus Drogo. Thanks to, let's see here, who did we miss? Who did we miss? I think we shouted out BB Mello, so Rotate Owls. He's up for 32 months and says, poop. You're poop.
Poop.
Nah.
32 months of pooping, though. That's a lot of poop.
That is, but you do more than that in your life, so comparatively, is it that long?
I mean, I poop 32 times in a day, so...
Ew, that must have sucked with both your arms broken.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the World Cyber Arena Group C. This is the winner's match, and of course, the winner of this best of three will go on to the playoffs that we will be casting tomorrow, actually. Spawning in the upper left side, though, he's going to be Mind Sanity's Blue Protoss, PtitDrogo.
In the bottom left as the Red Zerg, he's Nerchio. Alrighty then. So Nerchio had to ask who won, you know, because of the delay and everything. Also, he meant I've been watching, just in general. But he said, you know, Drogo was like, I won, and Nerchio said, feels bad, man. Actually, I think he says feels banjo, man, because that's what these new hip kids are saying. But he might have wanted to, you know, preferably face a Terran or preferably face Koss, thinking that he has a better chance against the guy. I'm not sure which one is the one that he felt bad about. But I would still put Nerchio as the one to get out of this group first, even if it's Drogo he has to face. I don't know how bad he has to feel about it. He is super scared of Adepts. He was super scared of a pylon block. Going for the third base on Frost first is quite a reach. He did take the correct third, though, instead of the aggressive offensive third. That's offensive. My belly feels like it's all rumbly and stuff. And Tums are doing the opposite effect of what they're supposed to.
What if you didn't swallow Tums, but instead watermelon seeds?
Nothing happens. This is like bubblegum all over again.
Oh, I thought that's how women got pregnant.
With watermelon babies. But their body has certain ways of shutting it down if they don't want it.
No politics in chat! No politics in chat! Okay. Nerchio darting across the map with a couple lings. Not going to be able to get a lot done, but he'll get scouting. And in fact, even just leaving these at the watchtower isn't going to be too bad of an option. But he is going for more than just two. No, perhaps this is because he's worried about Drogo coming across the map with a couple of Adepts. I don't think it's because Nerchio is ready to cut drones and go for some sort of really crazy ling all in. But I do want to point out that his natural base being taken at the third, while unconventional for most, is actually something we've seen so many players do that to me, when I cast Nerchio, I almost forget to bring it up just because he does it all the time.
Well, I kind of expected Resident Enclaves. What I'm really looking forward to seeing happen in Drogo's base is 5 more gateways be put down. I don't know if it's actually going to go that far, though. At least the 2, of course. You went 3 gateways with the production if you're going to take a third base. But Frost seems to be, for whatever reason, fairly popular for Adept attacks. Maybe because the bases are a little bit farther away and the Adepts can really get into all the nook and crannies and whatnot, or whatever the reason. I actually thought the reason was more because the map was unfavorable for a third for the Protoss, so they wanted to be aggressive before taking a third base, because otherwise they would get swarmed, but either one I guess could work. It seems to only be the 2 gateways though. And Nerchio, thankfully for him, I guess it's only to the 2 gateways. Because Nerchio, gotta say, like, he can see a lot of things coming just from, like, you know, checking the army size, the army composition, you know, the probe saturation, the third base timing. But he doesn't really scout with overlords. So sometimes you do catch him off guard because you put 7 gateways in your main base and he never bothered checking. You know, you'll even see him check for, like, Dark Shrines in the top right or something like that occasionally, but for whatever reason, he's not really into Overlord suiciding, you know? He's against it. On principle.
Nerchio's animal conservationist, I guess.
Yeah. That's a lot of roaches and lings, though. He did see the army move out, but only take a third base. I think this is more like he wants to cancel that third base, not like, oh, I'm going to defend, which is what most rogues are doing. But an old-fashioned ling roach attack, maybe a couple of ravagers on frost, usually seen on horizontal spawns, but can be done in vertical. Can be very effective. This has definitely tilted Drogo, in fact, in the past. And now he notices what's going on for realsy. He's going to take back his adepts and try and hold on to his third base.
I think attack on the right side, hitting this at the same time, instead of just being all from one angle. Unfortunately, though, the right side a bit smaller than the left currently. Going to be able to pincer Drogo in a moment. There's a couple of overcharges, but that pylon's already pretty low. A couple more corrosive piles should be able to finish it off. Ling's going to knock it down. No more defensive pylons. But also that robo gets unpowered, so no immortals on deck. Yeah. But it looks like Drogo might still just barely hold this.
Well, he needs to warp in more, that's for sure, because Lings are still on the way. So the Ravagers, unfortunately, by trying to do that pincer move, were left a little bit alone once the fodder was done. And he wants the Ravagers to basically stay alive forever. He doesn't want to take the time to remake the Ravagers, and he wants the corrosive biles constantly raining down from above. Already losing all but one, not a great little attack here. I think it was okay in the grand scheme of things, but not what Nerchio wanted. He still has a lot of Lings that are going to stop probes from being produced. I don't think they can tango with Resonant Glaze Adepts, though, especially if they get into like a decent position. But more Ravagers were formed to the leftover Roaches, who's going to continue poking. Thanks to Cyril for the 6-month resub. Halfway to a part 2. Poke you. The Adepts actually go to catch the Ravagers, and in doing so get a little caught off guard by the Lings. Corrosive Biles hit the Adepts and the Probes, coincidentally. Don't kill many of them, though. Just get them very, very weak. Behind this second attack, Nerchio was droning, but, I mean, as hard as he tries to drone, he's still down 10 workers, only just now evening that up, and that's not so great for him. Loses the Ravagers, has to continue making army unless he gets counterattacked and just loses straight up, and this is looking like a very good game for Drogo.
I mean, this whole thing with Drogo so far has been without Immortal assistance. That pylon getting depowered was scary, but now we're actually going to have Immortals into the mix. Dark Shrine on the way, so DT's even. And Nerchio has to somehow find a way to hold on with the Roaches. I mean, creep is one thing. Oh, that Mothership Core, please.
Yeah, that shouldn't have died.
I mean, on creep is one thing to help him, certainly, but I don't know if Roaches and Queens are going to cut it. He just doesn't have that many. A lot of what he has is on its way, so that supply count is a little bit of a lie. Right,
yeah, and a lot of these Roaches are coming out one at a time. Stalkers are left alone, they're not going to do so hot, but the Resident Englave Adepts do find the drone line and maybe a Queen. There you go.
To get the one that was ready to transfuse too, really unfortunate. Nerchio just can't cut any breaks here on the defense.
He'll use these Adepts Shades to escape, which I think is the wiser move. Like, take what you got, but don't just throw away your army. He did just play a series versus a Terran where he constantly almost lost because he threw away his army in an attack a little too much. So I like that he conserves whatever Adepts he could have and will go to defend. Now a well-saturated third base. He stopped Nerchio from getting to a good drone count by attacking like that as well. So while Nerchio kind of like pokes and prods and looks a little bit scary on the attack, it's really not for long.
This really goes back to the fact, though, that there are Immortals now. Oh, a single Immortal, but there just wasn't that damage that first time around, and he did a decent job holding this time around. Nerchio goes straight for the Immortal. First one gets focused down. DT in the mix is going to help out a little bit, but the Immortals do kill most of the Roaches before the fight's over, so Nerchio's just going to leave the game, and Drogo will take game number 1.
Yeah, you try all in here and there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's kind of falls flat on its face. I think originally the little surround thing that was going on at third base looked like a good idea, and then Nerchio realized it wasn't. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, well.
Well, that's just the first game. We'll get back to 2 here shortly. Hopefully it won't take too long. I do want to just talk a little bit about something we had discussed before, and I posted on Twitter. Give me the sec, Matt. Specifically around ad block a little bit. And I know some people actually tweeted saying, like, you know, they're still going to use ad block, but they try to donate to compensate or they subscribe to compensate. And we thank you guys kindly. Make no mistake, this is technically free content and there's no obligation to pay for it. But whether it's watching commercial breaks on stream or whether it's donating or subscribing or whatever you feel is most comfortable for you, it does allow us to do it as much as we do. So there is this degree of just us asking you to kindly consider disabling ad block. You don't have to. We're fully aware it's the internet, guys. There's bullshit and ads and spam and malware everywhere. So there is a need for ad block. But just in hopes that this convinces even a couple of you of considering whitelisting the channel, perhaps, I just bring it up as a kindly thank you and reminder. And just really, we appreciate your support. I posted the stats on Twitter too publicly. You can see after we started talking about ad block and stuff, our ad rate like doubled. Well, double's probably incorrect because I don't know those stats specifically. But still, the point remains. You guys are awesome, and I know our audience is awesome. And sometimes it is just that simple reminder of like, oh yeah, I forgot I have that thing on.
So is this emote a punching bag or a can of something?
It's a can of their was it tropical punch or whatever their.
That's what it's called. Right?
Twitch is a drink, and what I find that I'm a little bit tilted about is some streamers got to have their name branded on some of the drinks.
Really?
Yeah. So for example, you can get like the It Me JP version and stuff like that, but it's all the same drink.
It really looks like a punching bag, and it has punch in the name.
Oh yeah, I guess it does.
So that's what I'm gonna use it as.
I would not have seen that as a punching bag initially, but the fact that you've brought that up, I can actually see it.
Yeah, of course I would.
Not like, oh my god, I can't unsee it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, not like Kakuna's tie. That shit you can't unsee.
By the way, while we get into this game, another small update here is we pretty much have full submissions now for our temporary team league, and if not later today, then early tomorrow, I'll be sending the rosters out to our sponsors so they can pick the players for their teams. And I think that should be pretty fun. We got some really good signups actually for that. I'm gonna spoil you guys with a couple of teasers here. Say,
Burrito burrito.
On ZvP's camera. So yeah, before we do intros, just a quick couple shouts to like first off Guru and a Laser, Lambos. There's some Zerg for you if you want some Terran. We got Euthermal, Semper, Beastie Cutie. For Protoss, you got Peely Peely, Puck, and then I don't know. It's just we've got about 24 people signed up at the moment, so we only need 12. It's gonna suck not being able to invite everybody. It'll be up to the sponsors to pick.
Oh, it's gonna be like schoolyard kickball all over again.
Yeah. Well, I just for them, I don't know if they'll be looking for it, if they know the rankings of a lot of these players. Like I hope, I know for example, Chairs for Gaming, Corsair, and Ting are super duper duper into StarCraft, but Jansoon plays a lot of not StarCraft, so he might be the only one who's out of the loop.
I'll pick these three bronzies.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right. Anyways, getting into the game, map number 2, following the probe. In the top left side, we got the blue Zerg player, Nerchio.
Yep. And in the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is Drogo.
And Arm Legs StarCraft 1 in chat says, do ads actually give you money? I thought they all went to Twitch, LOL. So to explain, yeah, ads give us money, subscriptions give us money. We all share, like every broadcaster on Twitch shares with Twitch. We actually have a really high earning rate with them, which is great. So it's not your typical like 50-50 deal. I can't tell you guys what it is, but it's not amazing, but it's better than average. And we certainly do get money when you guys watch ads. That's how we pay ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's doing the punching bag thing now, and I can't not see it. I was wrong. I thought I just saw it. Now I can't not see it. It's upgraded. It's been elevated to code yellow.
So is this what they're going to be like giving out at TwitchCon?
Ooh, I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like
the same way like Monster and
Hot
Red Bull hand out their stuff all over like esports events.
Oh, yo, Monster was giving out free Monster, just like pretty girls are walking around with the
They had that at Austin, if you remember the giant booth. You could just go in and get free Monster.
Right, yeah, and then eventually they would roam around with it. So yeah, I never bothered picking up Monster, but they started roaming around with it, and they offered, and I was like, sure, why not? Whatever they gave me was actually seriously delicious, but then it had me like adrenaline rushing for like the next 2 hours. And I was like, I probably shouldn't have another one.
I'm part adrenaline Russian, if you know what I'm saying. Actually, interesting point being brought up by Turbo real quick, guys. For those who don't know how Turbo works as well, you don't see a commercial with Turbo, we actually get Twitch counts it as if you watch the commercial. They just take a number of people with Turbo on the channel, so let's say there's 100 people with Twitch Turbo watching right now, and they'll just basically say, okay, well, 100 people watch that ad. It's really awesome because it doesn't go by region-based stuff like the other ones do.
Yeah, but you should still whitelist the channels you want when you have Turbo.
Yes, if you're ad blocking with Or I think they changed that actually, because it used to be if you ad blocked with
Right.
turbo, it wouldn't create the impression. Now they just take the number of people who have turbo in
Yeah.
the channel.
So they're supposed to have changed it, but just in cases.
Either way,
I
thank you guys for
recently,
being sports heroes by watching.
you know, we have 90 people banned on this channel after all.
Shut up! I didn't know Twitch had that thing broken.
Well, that was my point, not to, you know, shove it in your face or whatever. It's that Twitch has, I guess, not tested features before. Anywho, thanks to Mick Marzipan
Oh, I love marzipan.
for the 6-month resub. What's marzipan? It's what?
Make cakes with and stuff, man.
Marzipan?
Not the way he spelt it, or they spelt it.
What is it? I know a lot about cake
It's
making.
it's like sugary almond, that sugary almond stuff.
Hold on.
Oh
It's
my
with a
God.
Z.
If you Google it, you'll know what it is.
Alright, I'm looking. Yeah, I never realized that's what the name of it was, but I recognize what it is. Interesting.
And it's yummy.
Today I
Anyways,
learned.
third base being taken out of Drogo. Let's not forget, since he's leading the series 1-0, there's a little bit of favoritism towards him. But for both of these players, there is still that finals match to fall back to. Both Kas and Damago will be playing that losers match after this.
Yeah. Alright, so Drogo was planning on doing this same attack last game and then realized very quickly there's too many roaches and like, oh shit, I have to defend. Here he realizes the queens already get a lot of damage done. Now he sees how many lings there were, and it's a good thing he already started to try and retreat. Unfortunately, he'll still lose a good handful of adepts, just, you know, there's too many lings. Nerchio did stop droning to do that, but he instantly makes 17 drones, I think it was, and they're quickly popping out here too, so he'll be saturated on 3 bases. Drogo, having saved any adepts at all, means that he won't have to worry about an attack on his third base, and he should just safely get probes on there. He's got a warp prism on the way, more gateways, of course, compensating for the economy. And Nerchio is scouting with an overseer, so not suiciding. He's still very anti-overload suicide, but it's better. As you know, Dark Shrine could be put down by now. You do want to see if they're doing anything tricky or weird, like a fast robotics bay. What else could they be doing? Double Stargate would have already come down, so I don't think he's scouting for that. But yeah, it's better to scout no. Thanks, Goatboy1975 for the 28-month resub. Woo! 20 months. Scouting to see how many lings are available. Honestly, if these adepts could get like a really good location, they could take on that many adepts. But the amount of queens, a little scary. In fact, spine colors even come down from Nerchio. It's a little odd considering how late the game is getting, but he is quite worried about not being able to catch all the adepts in each base. So a spine crawler will help that. If Drogo sees the spine crawlers, he might even just not use this attack. Takes care of this spine crawler real quick. No transfuses going down there, and he does transfer all the adepts on top of the lings.
Oh.
There's
That's
so many
also-
adepts, it doesn't matter.
That's the thing,
but-
right? They're covering each other. The Lings can't get a proper surround thanks to the Adepts' just body mass. There's also a warp in here on the third base, so Nerchio's Queen gonna die. Roaches kind of have to pick and choose where to go, but they can't be everywhere at the same time, so more drones die. Up to 17 workers killed, and the Adepts still going strong.
For a minute there, I was like, oh, is he on 9 gateways? Is this that like adept all in we've seen before? But he's not. He did hold off on his third base gases and his natural gases. Oh shit, yeah. I guess that's what Nerchio scouted to tell him to be really afraid and get the spine crawlers down. But it's only 6 gateways. So that's a little interesting. And Nerchio, I gotta say, like, he was trying to prepare for this. Like, kudos to his scouting. But he still lost 26 drones. The question, of course, as always, is did Drogo overcommit with the Adepts? He lost a big portion of his army, and he forced Nerchio to make an army. So the question is, can he hold? Now, Nerchio is making a tough decision now here as well, which is like, do I make more army or try and replace those drones I just lost? And it's a very difficult decision to make. If he gets the Immortal, he should be able to really do some serious damage. Post an Overcharge covers the second Immortal a little bit, but he pops out on the wrong side of things. All these pylons, not too helpful, just a little bit of Sim City. And this is complicating things for sure. Nerchio's getting some good damage done on Drogo's army, and droning behind this. Now that he's back up to 50-ish, he gets a lot of lings here as he... I think he's realizing, like, oh shit, like, I might have an opportunity. Again, this is 6 gateways for Drogo, not 9. And he is banking quite a few minerals. He's run out of Photon Overcharges. He doesn't have any more Immortals here. This very small army of roaches is doing some serious work.
It's surprisingly potent, I must say. Like, I didn't expect to be getting away with so much. Maybe Nerchio didn't either, so his reinforcements a little bit late to the party, but they get here. The Immortals are about to pop, and maybe this deals with the roaches, but the Ravagers and the Lings, well, actually, the Ravagers gone now, but the Lings will still be hard to deal with.
Yeah, his wall was broken. I think his cybernetics core went down, right? So that's the reason he's warping in Zealots. Not because he thinks Charge will finish, but yeah, it's the only thing it can warp in.
Mortal goes down.
Now, this is so close to snowballing, but recall that Drogo still has 3 bases fully saturated. Like, when he can breathe, I think he'll be able to pull this back, but...
Well, I didn't see the timing on this. I wonder if you did. When did he start Charge? Was it after or before the Cyber Core went down?
Before, I'm pretty sure. I think it was like done for like 30 seconds.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, because Charge is a reaction. It's kind of interesting because he knew the problems he would run into, or maybe this is just a tech he was going to because he already had Resonating Glaives. I don't know, but either way, Zealots are the only thing available, and they were no good without Charge. They're a little bit better with Charge, but still, the numbers aren't there. Down on 10 army supply, it's all of these 2 Archons.
Drogo has to go with 3rd base, and his army really is quite bad. He needs the Immortals, and I think Nerchio has done it. Nerchio, had he droned at any point more than 52, I think Drogo barely holds. But Nerchio stopped at a pretty perfect point to reinforce, and he has done it in this game. Despite taking all that damage from the Adepts.
I really thought that Nerchio was going to be salty and just mad about the Adepts, and we just see like comment after comment, but man, this worked out surprisingly well for him, I gotta say. Even Queen's managed to slowly make it across the map. Now we're not only gonna have some anti-air for that Mothership core, who has been raining hell from above slowly over this whole time. This transfuses now.
Purgatory from above.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's in between. It's in between, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the feedbacks are kind of clever. You know, remember those exist, but this is too much damage. To be fair, you know, on your point about him getting tilted about the Adepts, 26 DTs, no. Oh, if only he had these to begin with. 26 drones killed for that many Adepts was not that great. How many? I mean, I guess we can never tell how many Adepts. He probably lost like 26 Adepts, I say, in the attack, and then 14 on the defense, if I had to guess. Point is, it was a lot. So there was an opportunity that Nerchio knew he could bring this game back. I still think it had a lot to do with just a little bit of, like, you know, not the Photon Overcharges coming to the Immortal, the Robo being out the 3rd base, like, tiny different things in Drogo holds, but Nerchio wasn't completely out of the game to call that an amazing comeback, but it was a little bit of a comeback. But that's going to send us into the ace match. Drogo, not prepared to lose that game, maybe. But did after a long, hard battle. And last map, I don't know it, unfortunately. I think Drogo is going to tell us, but we'll come back as soon as that lobby's up. See you soon. Alright, welcome back. We're going to the ace match. It's going to be on Galactic Process. Huh. Gosh, I feel like there's like, you know, like the rumblies in my tummy are like coming out via, not even burps, which is great for you, great news for you, but just like big exhales, like, ugh. It's not exactly helping, but it's, I guess, better than other responses.
Moving on, we are getting into game number 3.
It's gonna turn into burp soon, and you're gonna be so grossed out.
Already kinda am. Kinda am. We're there. We're
Bodily
already there.
functions are perfectly natural and beautiful. We're done.
Someone in chat, by the way, demands that I bring back the hamburger. Well, Riamar was the most recent donor, so he got to pick the avatar. If you guys want me to use a different avatar, you know what to do. But alright, folks, it's tied up 1-1. And this is going to be game 3 to decide who goes straight into this playoffs in that round of 8. In the bottom left side, we've got the blue Protoss, Drogo.
On the top right as the red Zerg, he is Nerchio.
I know this is actually straight up trolling in chat too. People are talking about like, I don't have a credit card to sub, you mad? I still get astonished at all the ways Twitch has opened up the ability to subscribe to a channel. Like, you can use Subway gift cards and shit. Like, I will never understand how that actually works. Like, when it's money, right? Like, when it's like a credit card, okay, I understand. But like a gift card, like, does somebody at Twitch be like, you know what? Yeah, I'll change that $5 for a sub, and I'll put in $5 of my own to displace it. Like, how does that work?
I think like 10 years ago, it definitely would not have, but I feel like lately it's been a case of like everyone's sharing stuff now. Like, you have the Plenty rewards. I don't know if you have that in Canada, but it's basically all the rewards of like a bunch of different franchises. Or like, let's stop giving people 1 billion different keychains and let's just give them one so they can use it everywhere. I think the same thing happened with gift cards, where it's actually like, it is actually just money, but they slap like the logo on it instead. That's my guess, but I have no idea. Maybe they really do just like, hey, someone entered a Subway gift card, who wants it? Me.
Right? That's kind of what I imagine happens, but
like, can you use like a Riot card on it? Would that work?
I know when you say riot, you're referring to like League of Legends, but I just think like some sort of like, okay, who wants to cause a riot? Raise your hands.
Like, who wants a free skin? Me, I do. Anyway.
And then the rest of the office sneers because they're playing an inferior game like League of Legends instead of a superior game like StarCraft.
Yeah, I feel like the Twitch offices are not gonna be like that.
No, definitely not. But I still find it funny because there are so many. This is actually true of most people who have been in esports for more than like the last 3 years. Everyone's got StarCraft in their blood and their past. Whether you were a fan briefly or whether you're a pro gamer who's looked up to another pro gamer type thing. And Twitch isn't actually much of an exception to that. In fact, if I recall, and this might be me getting my history a little bit wrong, I think Twitch was made because of the love of StarCraft and what was potentially going to be esports at the time. That's why they delved off from like Justin TV. So most of the people at Twitch actually do have some like concrete love in their heart for StarCraft.
Yeah, it is the reason Twitch exists. I mean, it's not the reason Western esports is as big as it is, but it was certainly the catalyst, I guess might be the right word.
Yeah, like it was the first step.
Yeah, and the first step into Twitch, and Twitch became like the second step, and oh, we're here 6 years later, right? Actually, Justin TV closed, I think, 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, actually, because it went on beyond Twitch as like its own platform, and they realized it wasn't.
Did it? I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, you could still go to Justin TV for a long time after Twitch was formed, but no one really, why would you? But Twitch, I think, came 4 years ago. My timeline's also a little buggy. I remember just having a Twitch or a Justin TV account, and I started in 2010. Way back when. Anywho. Very fast evolution chamber. Typically this is just for that +1, but the opportunity for Overlord drops is there.
Yeah, I was actually just going to bring up a side note where Nerchio has been, he was one of the, I want to say, first people who found the best use out of Overlord drops. I'm remembering like the first time he ever stepped foot on Detox, he didn't hesitate to try it. Other more classic maps as well. I actually really love watching those sort of plays, but unfortunately, because they were figured out so early, Protoss had to deal with them early and thus have had to deal with them for a long time. So doing things like now hunting down the Overlords that are around your base, more of a common thing to do. This base, though, not so common, but has been becoming more common. We're seeing more and more players take this as their third. And I've got all kinds of questions as to why. My first thing is like, okay, in this particular matchup, the base to the south, the rocks are torn down by roaches and ravagers, and it's a pain in the ass to deal with. On the other hand, though, I'm wondering if this is like the backwards logic, by the way, nice surround, of, okay, well, if I take this base and I mine this base out, I'll have a much safer fourth to the south.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Because, like, sure, you can argue that any amount of roaches and ravagers going up a ramp is still bad to deal with. Like, it's even worse when they have a wide concave here. Like, I don't know the correct answer for it, to be honest. I really think that the way, like, we saw Showtime, for instance, doing it yesterday, where he walled off the front and got an easy third base, was better, but Drogo is being aggressive while taking what looks to be kind of a more, risky base, and that makes sense. I was also kind of, okay, well, the warp is gonna go down. At the fast lair from Nerchio, which, had that warp prism not gone down, I think might have cost him, because not only is it a fast lair, it's like, no roaches, not a lot of army, the dips did not transfer, And that could have been dangerous, but thank God the War Prism went down, so it's only these Adepts he has to take care of, and the Queens are trying. The Lings are going to be able to take care of this fully and entirely now, and Drogo has, you know, he's not trying to send Adepts forward anymore or anything like that. 8 drones in total, not a lot, but he also got a Scouts. Again, this like really fast layer. What was it for? I guess there was a Roach one, just didn't bother building Roaches, but the +1's almost done. It was for a Hydralisk Den. So that Hydralisk Den, imagine if he hadn't been attacked by Adepts, that could have come down like 30 seconds sooner. That'd be a very quick Hydralisk Den. And maybe Lurker Den. I'm not sure what his plan is. But +2 melee, so still upgrading those Lings. This Roach Warren might only be for Ravagers, but he's still bothering to get Roach speed. Still not 100% sure about that. I guess Roaches will still provide that buffer, whereas Lings don't. We'll see in a couple minutes what his exact composition looks like. Having to defend that Adept attack means that he doesn't have much of an army to attack into what is now a set-up third base. So Drogo's gonna get away with it.
Well, this is gonna answer our question too on like how safe this base is, considering. I mean, you look at the base at a glance, and I guess for Nerchio to go and attack from the north side is actually really out of the way. Like, you have to go quite far north to get that wraparound.
It's true.
So it really is almost like only having 2 angles of attack, and both this ramp and the little choke to the south are small.
I would say there's 2 dangers. No, there's 1 danger. Sorry. There's this, where the rocks are so broken down, right? Like, as if you had this third of these rocks are broken down, and now you have an entire right side that is open. You even have this side open, to be honest. You still have a wall, but that you're just not scouting. And it's going to be very hard to keep a consistent scout on that they could attack you with. The one thing I could see, yeah, being favorable for this, though, is that later on in the game, when you have force fields going down to ramp to attack into, would be unfair for Nerchio. And the attack point on the third is a little bit quicker than if you had started from over here. Lings are really trying to get something done. They are starting to a little bit, but the attack... It almost looked like he was applauding the attacking from Drogo.
That's what it looked like too. We'll get to the message in a minute. It's quite long, but the force fields and the Adepts are quite good. Now there's Hydras, and Hydras don't necessarily fare well when there's this many Adepts, so Nerchio is right to pull these away and maybe even just sacrifice the base. Another big Warping comes into play. If he can snipe off that Warp Prism, that would be the biggest pick, but he's busy focusing on the south side, hitting the Adepts, tearing through them best he can, wants to get to those sentries. 26 more Lings are on the way, but unfortunately some of them are coming from that base that just died.
Yeah, just Drogo attacking right before Nerchio really hit that sweet spot of Hydralisk production.
Oh, can he get the Warp Prism? He does get the Warp Prism.
Can he get the rest of the army, though? A lot of Adepts are still left over, but the Hydras aren't being targeted down. Those Queens are providing quite a buffer. There they go now, though.
It's still not going to be enough for Nerchio, though. The +2 weapons, while great for melee, his army supply is just trashed.
Yeah, it looks like Drogo has done it. The Adepts, in the first place, really, I think, delayed Nerchio's plan. And then the Adepts in the second attack were perfect against Nerchio's still small composition, small army.
He's pulling the drones, and even if he cleans up these Immortals, and like he will, the fact remains that Drogo has more Adepts coming across the map. It was the Warp Prism going down that stopped these from being on the front lines immediately, and snowballing beyond recognition.
Yeah.
All right, what's this? GG. Drogo gonna take this series and move on to the playoffs, being the first player out of Group C.
Well done.
Congratulations. Next up, we're going to have Koss versus Damaga in a TVZ, but TI_Inspire or TL_Inspire donates $5 and says, I honestly feel obliged to donate considering all the hours I've watched this stream and to make up for my use of an ad blocker. Competitive StarCraft has benefited immensely from the work you guys put in. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, not to toot our own horns here, but one of the things I think I'm proud that we've been able to contribute is not even like necessarily prize money and stuff, but I know there's a lot, like, while we don't get hired to cast the bigger tier events, I know a lot of the guys have actually used our VODs specifically to look at players because we have them on our stream so freaking often, and it gives them a good look at what to expect for the bigger events. So, well, albeit very minor in that regard, we cast the qualifiers, we get to contribute. It feels good, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna go into the losers match next, which will be, hold on, Koss versus Damaga. Well, it's a very old school matchup indeed. But first I have to do the vetoes and the lobby has to be set up, so we'll see you guys in a few.